Guten Tag and bienvenidos, listeners, and welcome to Über Cinco, the podcast game show where we deep dive top fives. I am Brian Ernst, your host for today's festivities, and in the den, today is Mitch Brinkman versus Nathan Hennenfent. Today, our contestants will reveal and defend their top 5 things you couldn't do as a kid, but can do as an adult. Our first guest is the only man I know who plays Where's Waldo the home game. It's Mitch Brinkman. How are you, sir?
Hi, good day. Yes, it's one of my favorite games to play. I find him all the time. It's very easy. You just have to have a little meat in your hands. He comes right to you. Because I have a dog named Waldo. Did you guys know that my dog is the cutest dog in the planet?
Okay, moving on. And his challenger.
And he lives in my house.
Shut up.
And
no one cares about the dog.
He loves the beach. He loves the beach. I took him to the beach yesterday. He loved it. He actually did like a
God.
W. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh. And his challenger is a man that gets the let out so much it's becoming a problem. It's Nathan Hennenfent. How are you?
I am extraordinarily well, thank you.
And as everyone knows, we're a bunch of dudes that like blowing all of you to the moon. So if you or a loved one is a fan, head on over to bizbear.biz to submit your suggestions so we can keep bringing the goods. Special thanks to Tristan Dean for submitting today's topic. And if you're new to the den, welcome. And let us wake you up with a quick rundown of the rules.
Each player in the den has spent time with today's topic arranging their top 5 answers in order of importance. Those answers have been submitted to the host who will moderate the game, awarding points to the player with the most poignant answer.
Starting with their number 5 choice, we will move up the ranks until we reach each of their top answers. But if both contestants happen to have the same answer on their list, well, we have an Uber stare-down.
You will hear the official Über Cinco siren, and both players must reveal their answer and what number they ranked their submission. An Uber stare-down is all or nothing, with one player earning 3 points. After all answers have been read, the host will reveal the final score.
And as a reminder, don't forget to stick around with us until the end of the show where I, Brian Ernst, will give you my Fast 5 send-off while I will rattle off the definitive list of the top 5 worst states.
Oof.
Oh. And as host...
They all begin with I and end with Indiana, so there we go.
No spoilers. And as host, I am entitled to institute a house rule for today's game. Bonus points to the player with the most debauchery in their adult endeavors. But the game cannot start yet. We here at Über Cinco are continuing our expansion into a full-blown entertainment conglomerate. Thanks to our wealthy, anonymous male benefactor on Patreon, we are now brimming with literally several Abe Lincolns in our pockets. That is starting with the building of our sports portfolio, where we have begun with the sponsorship of a suburban softball team. That's right, Über Cinco is a silver sponsor of the no-hit Sherlock softball team out of Elmhurst, Illinois. And the home opener concluded this week, so here's our first recap of how our money is working for us. Tell us how it started.
Absolutely. In their matchup with Brute Force League favorite Big Shoulders CrossFit, the no-hit Sherlocks came out swinging. A line drive from Murphy found its way right into the pitcher's hands, which could have spelled disaster for the up-and-coming ball club. Brian?
Yes, but a homer from Stanger and back-to-back RBIs from the Wackel sisters set the Sherlocks on a path towards victory. After Abby got caught in a rundown, Amanda solidified the 12-0 victory by bringing down a fly at second that stopped the runner. What a blowout.
Stay tuned for next week where we'll have the results of the Sherlocks matchup with TTF. Can't wait to hear that acronym. Brian?
Mitch, you caught the pre-show fly ball, so you will go first in today's game. Hit us with your number 5.
Thank you. Yeah. So my number 5 is one that I was never allowed to do this as a kid, but but I can do it as an adult. That's the whole point of today.
Correct. That is the topic. Yes.
So just to remind the listeners one more time off the top, and that is having full control over my bladder's destiny. Wow. Oh my God.
Hey, stare down to start, baby.
I'm very surprised. I didn't think this would be the stare down. I really didn't.
It is. It
Nathan,
actually goes with
what's
Nathan's number 2. Go ahead and read that for us, Nathan.
Yeah, my number 2 was number 2, basically using the bathroom whenever you want. That's and this is gonna fuck my shit up because I had definitely planned my number 3 and number 2 in order because I was gonna go backwards, and now that's out the window. So
you gotta roll with these punches.
I'm in some serious trouble now. So
yes, you are.
Oh, man.
All right, Mitch, you're first. Go ahead and tell us about your little mosquito bladder.
Sure. So yeah, when I was a child, and it wasn't something my parents were like, "You can't go to the bathroom, you little snot." It wasn't nothing like that. I just wasn't allowed as a child, or I couldn't allow myself to not just soak my own mattress every single night. Basically, I wet the bed just with a fervor. I was major league at waking up with wet shorts and little self-esteem from like age, when I couldn't remember to like was it like 12? It was just a long history, tons of highlights, honestly. Like it would sound very similar to like calling like a whitewater rafting contest. You can pretty much use all the same verbs and adjectives for my nightly sleeping. So it was this like terrible jail that I got locked in, and like you can't tell your friends about it because you're like, hey guys, like I piss all over my bed every night. And they're like, oh, what the fuck? That's weird.
Why?
And so I don't know why, because it's Minnesota and you're ashamed of everything. I don't know. But so I was very glad when I grew up, I was let out of that jail. But it was very powerful because I let myself out of that jail,
Good job.
I grew up enough. I matured. It was very, very wonderful. And when I was a kid, it'd be that thing where like I had my own set of sheets in the house. It was like Mitchell's sheets and everyone else's because I couldn't be trusted with the good linen. So it was like, you go in Mitchell's drawer of linens and it's like crinkly and rubbery, and I had my own set of washcloths because every morning my dad would be like, "All right, get up." Like, get the washcloth. And so, like,
go hose down.
I had my... No, like, legitimately. I had my own set of cleaning products. And, between me and my parents, it was normal. I'd be like, yep, all right, let me go grab it. I'll, clean this up and get this going. But so, like, it was this, like, weird, hidden, shame that my whole childhood. And then all of a sudden, one day, it just stopped. And I could see the sun again, and I could smell wildflowers, and chocolate ice cream tasted better. And I entered society. It was incredible. So,
wow.
But and that's not to say I haven't ever, accidentally pissed the bed since, but that was like, due to, dangerous levels of alcohol or something like that, which I never did as a kid. I want to put that out there. Didn't beer bong Coors Light as an 8-year-old. That was not happening. So,
but you could as an adult, and that's the point of today.
That exactly. So there's my number 5. I spray it all over your feet for your.
Good Lord! All right, Nathan, hit us with it.
Well, my take on this is not that I had trouble controlling it. It was. I just feel it was so messed up because in school, you are only allowed to do a natural bodily necessary function when it's convenient for them. Yeah. It's like, it's not like you literally have to do this. This is not an option and you have to do it. And it's like, well, no, like it's not like they can say, well, no, you can't breathe now because it's not recess time. Like you get to, this is part of life. This is just, In 4th grade, I remember very specifically, we had a assistant, like the bathroom was down the hall, and you didn't really, like, if it wasn't like active, like teaching time, you could just like grab the little thing, like there was a little like pass, And if nobody else had gone, so you could only go one at a time because that's how it works. Nobody ever has to go to the bathroom at the same time as another person, right? That's a scientific fact. So, but if the pass is there, you could just grab it, you go, you come back. So I really had to go. So I went and I grabbed the little thing, and there was a video that was playing. That's why I was able to just like get up and go. And I had been gone the day before as with some other people, and like so half the class had seen the video and half hadn't. And so I go to the bathroom, and then I come out, and my teacher is literally storming down the hallway after me, yelling at me. She's like, "I put this video on just for you," and you. I was like, well, really, in hindsight, I honestly wish I had just shit on the floor. I wish I had just pooped myself right on the floor and see, like, see, now you have to deal with this. Like, but there is a reverse to this. If you're super young, you actually can just poop yourself anywhere. They literally have special garments for you to wear, planning for that. It's a whole industry. And how great would that be if it was something you could do if you needed to extricate yourself from a social situation where it was just like, you're at your nephew's graduation and it's just really dragging on. You're like, oh, it's like, oh, sorry, I just shit myself. Gotta go, everybody. And everybody's like, oh, okay. But if you do that under a current system, people would be talking about that for years. So anyways, that was literally and figuratively my number 2.
Wow.
You can't do anything without this permission and a pass. Please. This pass is so important.
There was a big issue at St. Luke's where I went, where they just assumed if multiple boys went in the bathroom at the same time, there was gonna be hijinks and there was gonna be no goodery happening, and the teachers just, I don't know where that started. What teacher back in the 70s was like, multiple boys cannot go to the bathroom at the same time, or else they will smoke cigarettes and break stuff and draw graffiti or something. And so there was like that weird thing where you had to wait for everyone to go. And as a guy with a mosquito bladder, that sometimes was a little dangerous for me. So, I feel that pain. But I think I still won this stare down, so I'm just gonna.
I don't mean to poke holes in your theory, Mitch, though, but they did take the doors off of our bathrooms in high school because kids were smoking too much and playing dice in the middle of the bathroom.
They took the doors.
So they took the doors off, and that was extremely.
So the hallways just stunk like shit and cigarette smoke.
And it was extremely inconvenient for me the day I went in an emergency number 2 situation and got into the stall, relieved myself, and turned to see absolutely no toilet paper. So that means I had to go out, shuffle out into view of the hallway because there was no door, and then move to the next stall with my pants around my ankles just so I could wipe my own ass. So this is a real situation that people need to understand. High school or just school bathrooms are a horrible nightmare.
With it, the bathroom at my high school. Well, first of all, there was also a pre-K that was like in the basement of our high school.
Where they belong.
Yeah, there were like 3 buildings in my hometown, so you just had to put stuff wherever. But anyways, the bathroom had no windows, this lower level bathroom, and so it was just the classic thing you had to do was if somebody was in one of the stalls and you left, you had to turn the lights out on them so they would be in complete pitch black. It was impossible to find, like literally you couldn't see anything. And so we did this to my friend Kevin once, and he was stuck in there, and then some little kid from the pre-K class had to go to the bathroom, so this old lady who taught there like went in, and like the lights were off, so she didn't think anybody was in there. And so she took the little kid in, and Kevin just sat there silently, and and eventually she saw, the classic like feet with the jeans around the ankles thing. She's like, oh shoot, we have to go. And we all saw that. And so anyways, Kevin came out, and the kids, like all of the kids' clothes were like on the floor. So like the kid had like some terrible accident and it had been then disrobed. And so then now there's like a half naked kid somewhere else. And that's the end of the story. I don't know what happened after that, but
That's a valiant effort there to save your points, Nathan. Poor Kevin, still half naked somewhere, loose in the building. But Mitch, for learning about your horrible need for rubber sheets, I'm going to give you the full 3 points. Yep. Wow.
Yes.
That is something I didn't know existed, and now I can never unknow, as can the public. So they have to go to their grave with that. Since Nathan, you did not get 3 points for that stare down, we will move on to your number 5, actually, right?
Yes, my number 5 is to eat whatever you want, whenever you want.
Oh, yeah.
You can have breakfast for dinner. You can have dessert for breakfast. You can have hot dogs on Thanksgiving. You can eat whatever, whenever. It's great. This has back, you can order out whatever you want. You can order out 7 nights in a row. You can take your lunch to work, or you can go out to, like, my beloved school system, which is coming up again here. The food, I mean, everybody's cafeteria food is terrible, but I think back on this stuff now, and it's like people would get excited for pizza on every other Friday, and it was like cardboard with like some tomato paste and 1 or 2 like pieces of dog food on top, and that was like, hey, it's Pizza Friday. And my mom would always make a lunch for me that I would take, and we had like a McRib substitute.
Nice.
It was. I got excited for that. I literally was looking forward to that. That's how ludicrous it was. It was prison food essentially. And like I don't have to eat that ever again. I can eat whatever. But this does backfire because it does turn out that my parents were looking out for my best interests with what they were feeding me, because when I eat what I want as an adult, when I started my life as an adult, 15 straight nights of microwaved Indian food seemed like a good idea, but eventually you feel like you're going to explode. And it's, vegetables once in a while are a good thing. As much as I hate everything about vegetables, so terrible. Every single one of them are awful. I never want to touch another one for the rest of my life. I still eat them because I know that I need to stay alive. So
I was really going to ask, how has your diet changed since high school? Because I know your cooking schedule, and I don't think it's really you would still heat up that McRib substitute if you could. I know you could.
I just try to limit it to less than 20 times a month.
That's fine.
Sure,
and then
that's smart.
You do know you can smother vegetables in salt and butter, and it just tastes better, right?
That's what I do. I have to smuggle vegetables. It's like they're cocaine coming across the border. I've got to like just douse them in some sort of sauce, or like hide them within some extraordinary pile of meat. I can't just eat vegetables. It's atrocious.
And the worst part are there's no knives in your house, so you have to suckle down those carrots whole.
That's true.
It's a real hard way to digest long, skinny food.
That is true. That was one nice thing about having other people cook for me, was that things actually have been chopped up into things smaller than bowling balls before I try to dive in.
Nathan's stomach has like an extra layer of hydrochloric acid just because of how much it needs to break down, because what skips through his teeth is not small enough to pass. So Nathan, because
how many times have you had to give yourself the Heimlich on like the kitchen chair? There was one time I thought I had to, and I had the chair, and I was like, is this gonna have to whatever? And then luckily I coughed whatever it was up, and
that's a whole eggplant is what it was.
An entire eggplant. And then it was delicious, just as terrible the second time down as it was the first.
Oh God.
Well, eggplant sucks. We all know that. It's like, it's no Brussels sprout,
I get that. I get that. Plus, I would love to see Nathan eat both of those simultaneously in our presence. So let's make that happen soon. Nathan,
yeah.
I can't bring myself to give you full 3 points for that round, because you're missing out on some good veggies. So you're getting 2 points. Let's move on we'll stay with you, Nathan, for your number 4. What do you have?
Move.
Whoa.
You can move to a different location. Like if your life sucks, you can just go. You just go away. You don't like the people. You don't like you can just leave. You can change absolutely everything. You can just put your shit in the van, you're gone. It's over. You're done. You can move to a place that you like mountains. Mountains exist. They sell houses near mountains. Go. You like the beach? Plenty of those. Go. You can get out of here. Obviously this dependent on money, which is a problem for adults. It's not so much a problem for kids, but this does go along with driving. This is like that on a smaller scale. It sucks so bad not being able to drive, especially like I grew up in a small town. There was nothing to do in Roseville. But when I could finally drive, it's like, oh, I can go to a place that has things like anything. Like we didn't even have I had to drive 12 miles to get to the nearest McDonald's when I was a kid. Like that's how little there was going on. So being able to drive, but that's the micro, but the macro is actually being able to like leave and not live in a town of 1,000 people that you've seen every day for the first 18 years of your life. And, God bless them. There's some nice people there, but there just wasn't anything going on. And then as an adult, I decided I wanted to live in a place where maybe I could go to the movies without having to burn a whole tank of gas. And now I can. So being able to move, being able to see the world, being able to choose the lifestyle you want, that's my number 4.
I don't have any follow-ups for that. Being able just to get up and go is great, and I think that really does tie to a car. So,
yeah,
I believe it was Bruce Springsteen who once said that he found the keys to the universe inside of an old parked car, and I agree with that. So, moving on to Mitchell, what is your number 4?
Sure. My number 4 is a Minnesota-related one. And it happens when you have a mom that cares about you, and it's that is when you get older, you no longer have to bring a hat places just in case. I love it. I love not having that bulk in my pocket of the winter hat, or the winter coat, or the bulk in the pocket of the spring jacket, where I have a hat just in case, and my mom would always say, what if your car breaks down? What if you get stranded somewhere and you get cold? You need a hat. Bring a hat just in case. And I'd tell her, Mom, there's buildings I can go inside of. There's businesses I can patronize that can warm up in. And she'd be like, just bring a hat. Just bring a hat. I'm like, oh, fine. Like, just to shut her up, I'd put a hat in my pocket, and I always look really bulky. And I always thought like, oh, do people think I have like a weird tumor or like just some chub right in that area? And it slows me down. It takes up space where I could put, other treasures that I find, or like candy or money or like girls' phone numbers. I think because I had to bring a hat places, I didn't get nearly as many ladies' phone numbers as I could have as a kid. So now,
too bad pants don't have 2 sets of pockets.
Oh, do you think my pockets weren't full of, what did I have in my pockets? I guess baseball cards, bubble gum. Those were full already.
All right,
pal.
I'm sorry.
Did you grow up in the 40s?
But also, I just want to.
The pocket was full with everything I got out of the Cracker Jack box. You see,
switchblades, bouncy balls, little army men, the Pledge of Allegiance on the laminated card. I had that. My pocket Bible, always in my left jeans pocket. Oh no, but also, as an adult, you realize getting accustomed to the cold is a good thing. Whether it's your friend or an enemy, either way, you want to keep that close because you want to understand like your limits. And so when you really do need a hat, when it really is cold, then you know when to bring it. But otherwise, being a little bit cold is nice. It reminds you you're alive. It keeps your energy up. It slows down the aging process. I love a cold shower. It re-energizes me. It makes my joints and my muscles feel better after a good hard workout. Ice cold shower always makes you feel great. So I just think that part of this also is learning to love the cold, and you don't need a hat, this like, whoa, this nice wool thing to protect you from, being cold. No, learn to love the cold, So again, this is, coming from Minnesota, probably a different.
I was going to say, it's a very Minnesota
very important.
I like how Mitch.
It keeps you invigorated,
All right.
Okay, that's
Mitch, for those listening at home, Mitch literally made air quotes when he said hat, as if hats are an alleged conspiracy that may or may not exist. This so-called hat.
See, here's how my parents tackle this exact same situation. If I got somewhere that I didn't have a hat, they'd be like, you bet you wanted to bring a hat now, huh? I bet you're going to remember next time, you idiot. That's kind of how it was tackled.
But I'm a stubborn little piece of craphead kid, and I'd be like, no, I feel great. No, I'm great. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong with me. Also, when you have incredible hair like me, a hat just ruins it. So when you want to go out in the winter, you want to have great hair everywhere, a hat's gonna fuck that shit up. So, and your hair never looks the same after wearing a hat. Yes, double air quotes. For like more than 15 minutes, like your hair's never gonna recover. So.
Oh, heaven forbid. This does remind me of the time I forgot my keys when I was in middle school, and I walked home and I couldn't get in. And I called my mom, like, what time are you going to be home from work? And she was like, not for a couple of hours yet, you idiot. You left your keys at home, so go down to the street, walk in the family video, or go walk around Walgreens and stay warm for a little bit. I can't leave work early. So I went to family video. I did a bunch of laps. I got a movie. But then I was like, did 4 laps, and I'm like, I can't just keep doing laps for 4 hours or whatever it was inside of this family video. So I walked super slowly all the way home, and then my mom finally pulled up a couple hours later where I was just curled up in the driveway next to the basketball hoop, just trying to stay warm. And she gets out of the car. She's like, our neighbors are home. Why are you laying in the driveway? I think I said something shitty like to make a point or something stupid like that. But Nathan, you are getting 3 points for being able to move. And Mitch,
Brian,
cold showers are for psychopaths.
No,
yes, they are.
No,
yes.
They are for people who are unlocking the next level. That's who they're for. So.
No, they're for psychopaths and Cosmo Kramer. Those are the only people I've ever known to take cold showers. And for the fact that you're too worried about your goddamn hair while I have none. You're only getting 1 point for this round, you stubborn little stumblebum. All right, moving on to number 3.
Brian.
What?
Brian, can I just offer, the next time you're outside and you're cold, maybe you have a kid and they're outside and they're cold. You learn this in Minnesota. You put your hands in your armpits. That is a great way to heat up, to stay warm, or put your hands in your crotch or behind your knees. Great way to keep your extremities alive. There you go. Keep moving. Let's go.
My hands have been
dropping
everywhere.
knowledge.
Don't worry. All right, Nathan, you're number 3. What do you got for us?
Saying no.
What? Wow. All righty.
Oh, yeah.
So your number 3 is to say no to people. Mitchell's is, what's your number 2, Mitch?
Mine is to say no to offers of bowls of candy or in general candy from family and friends. So,
which sounds stupid, so I can't wait to hear that. Nathan, you will go first.
Mine is more broad. Mine is just saying no to things you gotta go to. You gotta go, hey, it's Sunday morning, we gotta go to church. No, I don't have to do that. You gotta go to Sunday school. No, I don't have to do that. You gotta go to this family. Nope, I don't have to do that thing. You're at a movie, this movie's bad. Guess what you can do? You can get up and you can walk out of that thing. You don't have to stay. Like, as a kid, you're on a field trip. It's like, man, we gotta go to this museum about how they used to weave blankets. No, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do that thing. I don't have to be nice to those people. I don't have to pretend. You can do this with relationships. Like, and I don't mean romantic relationships. I mean any relationship. Like, you're in school with these people. It's like, hey, these are your friends because they're the only people you're going to be around. If you're around a bunch of people who suck, you can just be like, I'm not going to spend time with these people anymore. And this is where the
Yep.
This is where I wanted to bring in my number 2 thing. Was going to say, like, wouldn't it be great if we could all just poop ourselves to get out of social situations? That's how I was going to tie that together.
He brought it back. There we go.
But
He brought it back.
I remember when I was going to, like, I go to a party for some distant relative who I didn't know or had met like maybe once when I was a baby, and now I'm 8 years old. And I wouldn't have wanted to go to that. So as an adult, I wouldn't be here in the first place. But then like I'm 8 years old, and hey, like some random other family has an 8-year-old, and the adults like don't want to deal with you. So it's like, 2 8-year-olds, boom, they just stick you together. It's like you're gonna hang out with for 4 hours. You're on this blind date, like friend date with like all the other 8-year-olds. But if as an adult, like it's like, oh, I'm in my 30s and I walk into this bar and I see a bunch of other people in their 30s and it turns out they're all terrible. It's like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm going home. Like It's fine. You can just you don't have to do so many things. It's really wonderful.
This reminds
As an 8-year-old, Nathan, when you were stuck with other 8-year-olds, would you be the kid that would like suggest a game? Or would you just be like, I have my basketball cards here, you know, like you do what you want. Like if you want to play with mine, you can. But like, what was your vibe then?
I would just pray that basketball was going to happen, as that was pretty much the only way I knew how to communicate without being completely awkward. And other than that, I would just. I hated these situations so much. I would just kind of go along with whatever is going on, put my head down, close my eyes, and pray that it would be over soon. I hated having to deal with stranger kids.
Yes.
It sounds like you were a religious child because you mentioned the word pray multiple times here.
Well, yeah.
Were
so
you
I was
more Catholic?
I was extraordinarily Catholic. I was actually, as I mentioned last week, a Franciscan monk every spring break.
That's right. Okay.
This reminds me of the time I had to go to a party when I was a kid where it was like my dad's friends from high school. So, but everybody had families now. So you go there and there's a bunch of stranger kids that you have no idea who's there. And there was one little asshole. He had these like fucking little glasses. And he would like come up to me and like, he's a real close talker. He was super annoying. He was stealing toys away from me that I was playing with. And I got super upset. I was like welled in tears. And I went to my dad and I was just like, this kid is such a jerk. He keeps doing this thing, blah, blah, blah. He's like, if he keeps doing it, lead him behind the shed and check him into the shed. He won't bother you again. And I was like, okay.
I love Rick so much. That's the fucking best.
He's like, I'm not handling this for you. You figure it out. And the kid stole stuff from me again. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's play tag. We ran around the shed. And I just boom right into the side of the shed. I was probably only 8 or 9. And he was like, boom. And he started to cry and he ran off to go tell or whatever. And I went back to my dad and it was something like the parents came over and my dad was like, well, he's with me the whole time. I don't know what's happening. He must have fell or something weird. And guess what? That kid didn't bother me the rest of the day. And it was awesome. So
wow. When there was a kid that annoyed the shit out of my friends and I every Wednesday night. Our parents all played softball at St. Luke's. And after softball games, they had a party back at the church in the garage and the whatever. So the parents are drinking beer, eating chips. You know, we're running by getting some sloppy joes every now and again. And there's this one little fucking kid. His name was Kip. I remember that. I'll never forget Kip.
Oh,
and Kip was just one of those kids who he's like, I'm 7, but I've read all the Hobbit series already. And you're like, cool, go away. I don't know who you are. And he would follow us and he would literally stay within 10 feet of us at all times. And he would bark like a dog just to annoy us. I swear to God, this is true. And we're like, can you just go away? We aren't friends with you. We don't hang out with you at school. Like, what? You don't like us. We don't like you. Go away. And he's like, I'll go away if you guess my password. And it took us 30 minutes. And we found out, and I don't remember what the password was, but it was the name of a ship from Star Trek. And he finally went away. And me and my friend Michael were like, what the fuck just happened? And I think we grew up right then and there and just became angry old men. Because 20 minutes later, Kip came right back again. And we kept having to say the name of the ship. And he'd leave for a couple minutes at a time and then come back again.
He stayed to his word about the password and he would keep leaving.
Yeah.
Sounds like this Kip character had some severe disability, and you should have been much more sensitive to it.
No. It sounds like to me you should have found a shed where you needed to get rid of Kip.
Kip was, I don't know what was wrong with Kip, but Kip, if you're out there, I'm so glad I haven't seen you in decades. You're probably just as annoying.
Only in Minnesota would you
All right.
find a kid named Kip.
Right? Yeah.
All right, Mitch, tell us why you're saying no to candy like an idiot.
Okay, so my grandma Betty, she's like the queen of candy. When you get there, she has a bowl of, there's Snickers, there's Milky Ways, there's those little soft pillow mints. There's always Tootsie Rolls. What else did she have? The little strawberry hard candies. Like, there's always so much candy everywhere. Valentine's Day at school, everyone brings you candy. When you're on my other side of the family, the Brinkmans, people don't know what to get you or bring, and a lot of people couldn't cook, so they just brought bags of fucking candy. So as a kid, I always had so much fucking candy at my disposal, and it was pretty good. But at some point, there's diminishing returns to it. So after you've been at Grandma Betty's house for 6 hours, you've had your roast beef, your mashed potatoes, your green beans, you've had, cookies and coffee for dessert. You've already had candy to start as your apps and your and maybe an extra dessert at the end. On the way out the door, she drops another bag of travel-sized Snickers in your hands and says, I got these on sale, take them home with you. And then your brother gets one too. So you've got 2 giant party-sized bags of candy in the backseat of the car. And I know I'm complaining about having candy, which sounds stupid, but I was so happy when I got older when I could just say, no thanks. Like, I would lie. I'd be like, oh, I got to watch my figure or whatever. Like, but the truth is, I just want, like, if she gave me chicken wings, I would be so happy. Like, give me chicken wings. Give me a roasted Brussels sprout with some caramelized onions. Give me a potato salad made with a vinaigrette instead of mayo. Give me roasted carrots with turmeric and a peanut dipping sauce. Like, give me those things. I am done with the candy. I just recently got a Snickers bar at the dollar store for our dollar store episode. You guys remember that? I ate it when I got home. I couldn't even finish it. I was like, this is so goddamn sugary. My teeth are going to fall out. I was like, Snickers have never been good. I was just brainwashed as a child by my sugar crazy grandma. And so, Betty, I love you, but I'm recovered. I'm recovered now, and I'm proud, and I'm strong enough to say I don't want any more candy. Okay? Yes, I will take a lemon drizzle cake. Sure. I will take a peach apple crumble. I will take a beautiful tomato braised cauliflower head. I'll do that. But no more travel size Snickers. No more Milky Way Midnights. I'm done. No more Tootsie Rolls. That's it. I'm saying no. I'm putting my foot down. Thank you very much. So
you've been a pretentious over-the-hill food critic since you were 8? Jesus Christ, what a life. Because you say no to Snickers, that leads to fucking ricotta and green olive pizza later on down the road, and you make everyone around you suffer, and you're trying to convince our loyal audience that candy from your grandma is a bad thing during an Uber stare down.
Yes.
And your teensy-weensy little palate couldn't finish one fucking Snickers bar because the sugar was too much. What kind of adult are you, you weirdo?
Nathan, remember when you and Steve came over and I made you guys that elevated hamburger helper, if you will?
Yeah, nobody's saying you're not a great chef. That's never been a question.
No, but I'm saying that one was stuffed with vegetables. Everyone loved it. And guess what? That would not have happened if I just given you guys a bunch of Snickers. You would have been like, okay, can we have some real food now, please?
I'm pretty sure Nathan and Steve would have been equally happy. They would have been equally happy.
Yeah. We were just grateful to be eating at the time. Like, it was delicious. You could have given us literally anything and we would have been pleased.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way you're winning this, Mitch. That's 3 points for Nathan. Come on. What a horrible argument.
You know what? I'm saying no to candy so I can say yes to my health. That's what it is. Thank you very much. Okay.
Also,
And I
your
think if
grandma
I'm not
gave
winning
you a
that
bag
one-
of candy. She wasn't shoving it down your gullet with a funnel like she was treating you like you were foie gras. It was just giving you a bag. You don't just throw it away.
My grandma would push a candy bowl near you. She'd be like, here's candy. And she'd look at you until you grab some. And if not, she'd be like, why aren't you taking candy? Okay. So
take it and put it back or throw it at somebody. Throw it at Kip.
I mean, good point. Yeah, Kip, that would have distracted
Think about
him.
how much fat you could have played with Kip, and maybe that's where the friendship would have blossomed.
Oh, Kip.
Mitch, stay
Kip,
with us.
I hope you're doing awful. All right.
Mitch, stay with us. What's your number 3?
Sure. This one is a classic. I mean, everyone loves this one. And it's simple. As a kid, I couldn't, but now I can. And that is to say fuck like any fucking time I fucking want, you know? But you know what? You two fucks are laughing because you know it's true. You're like, oh, that's fucking true. Dude, yeah, that's the fucking fuck truth right there, is that he gets to say fuck whenever he wants. And what I'm demonstrating right now is that the word fuck isn't bad. The more you say it, the less power it has, you know? Like, if you really make a meal out of it, if you curl your lips up and you're like, fuck, as a kid, yeah, that might seem bad. But if you're just tossing fucks around, you're like, hey, fuck, you want to fuck? Here's a fuck. Take a fuck. And you're like, ah, it's just fuck. You know, it loses the meaning, you know, it's great. So also, again, you know, man, this fuck really fucking fucks up the fucking shit, you know? Like, it's so descriptive. It works. It sounds good. Everyone can spell it. Everyone can say it. It's nice. It makes your mouth feel proud
It's
when
nice.
you're done. Fuck. 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 So, there it is. Fuck, dude, right?
No rebuttal. 3 points for Mitchell. One of my favorite things of all time as well.
Was it fuck in the Wire, or was it shit? That great scene from The Wire where McNulty and Bunk, they just say what they're looking at a crime scene, and it's just like 3 minutes, and is it shit or fuck? But they only say the one profanity over and over. It's such a great scene.
I think it's fuck because Senator Clay Davis was the one who always said shit.
Shit, yeah. That's
shit,
right.
yeah. But yeah. But fucking also fucking The Wire. The fucking Wire is the best fucking show about cops that's ever been fucking made. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
this is today's been a really good fucking time for me. I appreciate you two fucks. Seriously, you guys are both fucking rad. So.
Well, fucking A. We're on to our number ones already.
Fucking A, man. Fucking A.
Nathan, tell us your number 1.
All right, it's a bit obvious, and I'm not gonna go the crude route here, but
why?
My number one is it's doing it.
Doing what?
Doing what? What do you do? Your mother who listens to this podcast wants to know what the number 1 is.
Coitus, sexual congress.
Okay.
The beast with 2 backs. Now,
yes. Oh, Nathan loves this. I know. Yeah. It's his number 1. Obviously, yeah.
Now it's the obvious choice, but I'm not going to look at this from the adult perspective. I'm looking at it as like when you're a kid, it's like, oh, there's this thing that you can't talk about it. What is it? And finally, like, somebody tells you, like, they let you in on the secret, like, oh, it's the most physically pleasurable activity. It's the most intimate way of expressing love and affection for someone. It's how we continue to create the miracle of human life. And it also happens to be hilarious because it uses the body parts that are the most hilariously named and funny to look at. But you can never talk about it. And it's forbidden, and you shouldn't do it, and pretend it doesn't exist, and be ashamed about the fact that you want to. But what purpose does that serve? Just so that finally, when you can do it, you're going to be terrible and awkward and self-conscious, and it's going to be like years before it's finally not hugely embarrassing. So, yeah, that's why it's my number 1, because now you don't have to be terrified of the no parts. So yeah.
It is the great.
The no parts.
Yeah.
We just went from fucking fuck to the no part.
Well, yeah, my number one essentially is fuck. So-
Yeah, dude, fucking, yeah. Also, I love that. The video quality isn't great, but you can see how red Nathan has become since saying no parts. He is thinking about everyone out there in the world watching this video feed. And okay, Nathan, here's a question. After you found out about sex, which was what, were you 10, 11?
Yeah, somewhere in that area, I guess.
When you like understood or whatever.
Yeah.
Who was the first adult female you like fantasized about?
I honestly don't know. There
You
were
don't know.
It was like
Bullshit.
it went from
Come on.
it was like it went from 0 to like 1 million in a day. It was like there's that day where it's like that isn't a thing that I think about, and then now it's like, oh, blah, look at all these. They're everywhere. Like women are just walking around. Like they're
so many no parts surrounding me.
So like Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Halle Berry.
Those were all excellent candidates. Yes.
Okay. Did you have a poster ever in your locker of a pretty lady? Did you ever put one of those up?
You know what? This is weird because I don't know how this happened. I remember in my locker I did have a picture of Avril Lavigne at one time, wearing the tie from that first
Nice.
album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I literally hadn't thought about her since maybe that year until you brought this up. But she had a couple songs. I don't know. There wasn't much going on in Roseville, so the Avril Lavigne made it into the locker. Yeah.
I mean, loving Avril Lavigne, it's complicated. Mitch, that does make me remind. Can you remember who your first crushes were before you even understood what sex was or the mythology of?
Sure.
And I remember loving the Kimberly, the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Because she was also Susie Q in the Disney Channel movie. And then Princess Jasmine from Aladdin when you were 4. You had no idea. Like, why do I like watching this movie so much?
Yep. I also saw Risky Business on TV one time when I was like my parents were out like doing yard work or something.
It was the underwear scene, wasn't it?
It was the underwear scene, and I was, I don't know, probably 6 or 7, and thinking, I don't know what's going on, but this is cool, and she's awesome, and I'm like, whoa, hello. And so, yeah, I fell into some of those.
I was mentioning the Tom Cruise underwear scene. Which underwear scene are you talking about?
The prostitute comes over. Doesn't she take her underwear off?
Well, in the first iteration of Uber Cinco many years ago, we did do a top 5 childhood crush or celebrity crush thing, and Wendy Peppercorn from The Sandlot.
Yep.
That was a moment where I was like, I'm feeling things that I have never felt before, and I don't understand what they're happening. When I saw that,
that's a perfect example. Perfect example.
I also, as like a second grader, my friend Morgan and I at his house, his dad had to control 3 boys and a daughter. So like he was barely holding, the whole house together. So it was a bit of like a, kind of a free for all. And we would go up to his brother Clifford's room, and his brother Cliff, who was I think 8th or 9th grade, was allowed to get Playboys. And so as second graders, I was like, why is this lady laying on top of a fire truck with only suspenders on and she's all oiled up? It's like, what is this?
That is not an effective way to fight a fire.
No, not at all. And you later learn like Playboy is like, it's freaking stupid. And like, it really is about the articles because the pictures are completely moronic and not realistic at all. But I just remember like looking at me like, am I supposed to... This is cool, right? Like I remember being like, Morgan, this is awesome, right? We're not like, but we were kind of confused because it's, it's Playboy and it's weird. And, again, no one's laying on the hood of a fucking fire truck. It's like, it's an impractical way or place to even attempt with your no parts. To use Nathan's terms, but yeah, so.
Nathan, that is a solid number 1. Mitch, go ahead and top coitus on your list there.
You guys are gonna hate me because this is just gonna continue this tide of food snobbery that has been present throughout. But my number one thing that I wasn't allowed to do as a kid, but I am as an adult, is make dinner every night. And now what I mean by that is that my mom, bless her heart, and I know, Mom, you're listening to this, but my mom wanted things done a certain way. She exercised an amount of control over her kitchen. She is a very, very excellent, good cook. I was very well fed. My love of food comes directly from her. She taught me, the majority of things I know, but she always had full control over it. And being her son, I was like, I want control. I want to make decisions in the kitchen. I want to make beef tonight. I want to make it bulgogi. I want jerk chicken wings, whatever. But my mom was like, no, we're going to have this dish. And, I could help cook, but I could never do anything completely independent. Probably because my mom didn't want the food to be shitty because I was still a kid. And so it's been wonderful as an adult to have full control, full independence over my menu, over the food I'm enjoying.
My menu. Sorry, I didn't know you were the executive chef at a Ritz-Carlton. Jesus Christ.
So now, if I come home on a Thursday and I'm hungry, and I'm thinking what do I want tonight? I'm like, you know what? I want, stir-fried garlic noodles with a homemade peanut sauce and shredded red cabbage with some delightful cilantro on top at the end, maybe a little sprinkled peanuts. Oh, I want to pair that with a pineapple and red onion marinated pork loin. I'm going to make that, and it's going to be freaking delicious, and it's going to be made exactly to my specifications.
Nathan is so confused right now.
Who would choose to live their life this way?
or if it's lunchtime and I don't know what to eat, but I've still got some eggs in the house, and I've got some bacon grease in the bacon jar still, and I've got a little Parmesan in the fridge. Motherfucker, I'm going to make carbonara, and it's going to be quick, and it's going to be just like you'd find in Italy. It's going to have extra black pepper, and it's going to be freaking delicious, and it's going to knock my socks off, and it's going to keep me so full and happy, I might not even have dinner. Or I might pop some frozen fish fillets out of the freezer at 9 o'clock, and I'm making fish tacos, baby. I'm doing corn tortillas. I'm throwing some corn slaw on that motherfucker. Excuse me. Actually, no, I can say fuck this episode. I've opened that gate. I can say all I fucking want. It's my girlfriend's birthday. She wants carrot cake. I'm putting extra fucking raisins in that motherfucker. I'm putting extra cream cheese frosting on top. I'm making sure that those walnuts are toasted just so before they go into the batter. I'm not doing 2 layers. I'm doing 3 layers. Oh my fucking God. Dudes, okay? I'm doing exactly how I want to do it. And you know what? If I want to eat 25 chicken wings in one sitting, and I want 5 different types of sauces, then I'm having 5 different types of sauces. I'm doing buffalo. I'm doing atomic. I'm doing lemon pepper. I'm doing garlic ginger, baby. That's how you unlock the fucking next level right there. And then I'm doing naked. I'm doing naked and fried. There it is. So there's my number one.
I've got to interject here.
Full fucking control of my food destiny, and I fucking love it. Okay, I can do it because I'm a fucking adult. Thank you very much.
I have to interject here with the point of perhaps you could criticize Mitch for being a little long-winded there, but I have reaped the benefit of this attitude he has. I have benefited from this because we used to live together. And if you remember how our apartment was lined up, was my bedroom door was opened up right into the kitchen. And I could roll out of bed one morning and Mitch would be frying up and he's not blowing smoke up your butt, listeners. He's legitimately is a legend in the kitchen. And he's so excited about what he's making. He couldn't help himself but to want me to try everything because he just wanted to be look how good I am at this. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll have another delicious meal for free that's just sitting outside my bedroom door. Oh no. So it was a pretty sweet arrangement.
It's the one situation where arrogance actually just benefits everyone around that person.
I will say that I do remember a couple of parties we threw at our house, and I'd be like, guys, we got to have some food for this party. And Nathan and Steve would be like, yeah, we got chips and we have beer. We're good. I'm like, no, we need mango jalapeno quesadillas, you guys. I'm like, why? Let's just enjoy the party. I'm like, no, I gotta stand here and cook for hours. Come on.
Then I would come over as a guest, and this great food would be there, and then of course there would just be a half-drunken gallon of Cutty Sark sitting on the table. Yeah, just drink that. that you just pair it with that. It works fine.
Jug liquor.
Just drink the jug liquor, and it'll taste even better. God damn it.
So there's that. There's a downside is I'm also quite, a control freak in the kitchen. So like it's hard to cook with me sometimes. So, but.
How do you and your mom cook together now?
Oh, it's like it's basically like how when John Kerry went over to Iran but like before they did the nuclear deal, they had months of talks somewhere in Europe to like preset the terms kind of thing. We're like, when we do talk, you're going to be at this position on the table. You're going to be this position on the table. You're going to have 22 minutes to talk, and then they'll have 22 minutes. It's like that. Where like before we start, I'm like, Mom, I'll be doing the appetizer and the dessert. You have the entree. We will not step into each other's arenas unless we get direct plea for help from the other person. And then, it's like there's no, we don't cross the lines. It's like clearly delineated. And then that everything comes out fucking great. So
nuclear conflict is the analogy you went for.
It's literally the only thing that's close enough to how we cook as a family. Man, scoring it out. Mitch, as much as I want to tear you down, I am appreciative of the work that you do put it in the kitchen. So you're getting 3 points for your number one.
Yes.
Nathan, I wanted you to say penis and or vagina. You didn't. So you're only getting 2 for your no parts. But we have a problem that brings us to a tie.
Oh.
So I have to think of the one that brought about the most debauchery as an adult. And I still think it is talking about your no parts and engaging in coitus. So, Nathan, you will get the extra point for winning.
What the fuck, Brian?
11 to 10.
What kind of fucking bullshit you fucking dropping on me here?
I tried to help you. I gave you 3 points. I was actually supportive of you today.
Thank you.
But you didn't. I mean, if you would have said you killed Kip, you would have gotten the extra point, but you didn't.
Brian, be the wind under my fucking wings, not the spit in my face. You fucking fuck. God damn it.
I am so sorry. But we cannot leave. That's the game. We can't leave today, though, until I reveal my Fast 5 top 5 worst states. Number 5, being catatonic. Is there anything worse than just being absolutely immobile? Yes, there is, because I have 4 more on my list. Number 4, State Farm. I really don't have that big of an issue with them, but I still have to pay you every goddamn month, even when I don't do anything wrong, and I don't like it. Sorry. Number 3, having a state of mind. Nothing ever good comes out of determined folks looking to make others think like them. Get out of your state of mind. Bad. Number 2. When the British say a mess is a state. Oh, this room is such a state. Get off your goddamn high horse and call it a mess and get out of here. Go home. Number 1. Indiana. And that's this week's edition of Über Cinco. From the booming economic district of Sopico has been
Mitch Brinkman.
And from the medieval remains of Old Irving Park has been
Nathan Hennenfent.
And I have been Brian Ernst. And as BizBear always says, if they keep their peanut butter in the fridge, there's probably heads in the freezer. Run. Auf Wiedersehen and adios.
You've just listened to Über Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.